Welcome to Marketing 247 online consumer behavior offered by Harper College. My name is Dr. George Mochocki. Before I go on this week, I'm going to go into a little bit overview. I'm going to flip on to Blackboard and I'll walk through what we have out there. Make sure you always print out this sheet. It just tells you everything that you need for a week. It gives you your learning objectives, everything else. So when you're reading it, you at least have a general idea. Look at the sheet as an executive summary, similar to what you'll be doing in your research paper. And I always provide with you a conceptual map. Conceptual map are basically, and plus the PowerPoints that are included with the chapters. I converted them and everything else for you. So if I look at the conceptual maps to give you a good information of everything that's going on. Okay, well, let me see. Let me go back in here. So we're going to be in week 11 this week. You got from April 29th to May 6th. I flip on week 11, and it should be open tomorrow by usually by about 9 o'clock. I always set it up because you never know with the storm. Where I live at in Lake County area, we have a lot of power outages, for lack of better words. So this way, I want to make sure, winters or anything else that I already have the general information in there. Okay, so on week 11, so you click on the overview, it tells you everything about the overview. What you're going to have one quiz. You're only going to get covering one chapter, chapter 20, and what you're going to have is 5 short essay questions. Each word 6 points. That gives you 30 points. The 30 points is really easy. Now, those give me one-liners. I'm trying to get you by doing this. Look, you're at home. You have all this information. When you respond to me, I want you to make sure you understand this. Now, this chapter 20 is in regulatory, and it focused more on marketing towards children and also marketing to adults. What's fair marketing, ethical marketing. So we'll get into a little bit of that into the discussion when I go through the concept map when I go through it. Okay, now you're going to have one form. Now, if I'm looking at the form this week, when I'm going to click on the form, before you go on the form, there's 2 websites that everyone has to, it's required. Everyone's got to look at the 2 websites. One is on the FDI, what do you call it, FTC website, the Federal Trade Commission. The other one is on the CARU website, which is basically a website that is, the advertising industry is self-regulating itself, for lack of better words. And that's what this whole chapter is about. And then you have the regular regulators. And then you have one, so when you click on this website, when you go in there, you're going to find out about what's the main issues, how do you try to regulate, and then there's a video, a McDonald's video on after this is a YouTube clip of an advertisement that this site says it's acceptable not only to the regulatory bodies, acceptable meeting all the codes and everything else that you're going to read out of this chapter. Very good chapter, and we'll get into this a little bit later. And then the next one you have Eaton Corporation. The Eaton Corporation is a manufacturing corporation, but they're global. So what they basically did, they took global policies. So they took the ethics and everything else, which you're doing in advertising and everything else, and they placed this into their ethics statement. So now when you look at this one, this is a corporation that is trying to satisfy the CARU and satisfy the FTC and also satisfy the customers, which being a sound, ethical, social responsible organization that we've been reading. Remember, when you're looking from consumer behavior, as some mentioned before, we as a consumer, we understand. Now you understand what's marketing doing. Some of them could be deceptive, some of them are demotivating, some of them are doing their business. But remember, you in marketing, you are so close to crossing that line that may not. I'm not saying it's and sometimes crossing the line could be what do you call it, breaking the law. A lot of times you cross that ethical line. So as a good marketer, and some companies do that because this is part of the marketing campaign. When we look at the public relation, so they get free publicity, just to get the name out, good or bad, because I'm the bad boy, I'm a bad girl, and either clothing line or something else. Okay, so when you look at those, so you're going to those are 3 required everyone has to do. And so when you're going to post in your subject area, you're going to say these are my required and my take, and contrast between the two and reading the chapter what I think. And so you'll say a required post. You don't have to go 1, 2, 3. You say these are the required 3 posts, and that's going to be the subject area. And then you'll read somebody else's, and they'll read yours, and then you'll stimulate conversation. And then you'll have like 4 videos that's going to look controversial videos, and one's going to be on Happy Meal. And now the Happy Meal video is a video that it was no longer available because the way McDonald's worked around it. It was a negative video about how McDonald's stimulated. When you look at the self-regulated CRU, self-regulated industry watchdog, from the advertising, they have a whole. From a chapter reading, what they call the code of ethics that you can't violate. So, but anyway, so this video here shows how McDonald's kind of violated that code, and so they're bad moshing it. But so McDonald's couldn't really take them out. So I think what they basically did was use the copyright infringement because they're using McDonald's, and not that it was clip one time, but they were showing this, so they didn't have the rights to use their toys and everything else in a negative ad, for lack of better words. I think that's the way it came around. Someone could post that. It's very interesting. But in case of that one, so that one's not available unless you find an old one and somebody finds a link and could post it, then we all could see it. But in lieu of that, I put a website called Trust website, and if you look at this one, once you go in there, the website will show you how to make sure some of the sites are safe, which ones are trusted safe, which ones are kind of like looks like they're trusted because they've got the right, or looks like they got the logo of a trusted site, but may not be a trusted site. Okay, and then you have another one. You have interactive strokes privacy. You have birth control corrective advertising because you had a little pressure, and kids hooked on plastic. The kids hooked on plastic. If you look at kids hooked on plastic, that's a really good one. They're starting to market credit cards and everything else to younger children as free, but not right outright. So those of you who are parents or grandparents, or you have siblings, or you got brothers and sisters, now look at that. Now, is that crossing the ethical line? I don't know. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting. Okay, so that's going to be your form. So we are right on that one. So I'm done with the forms. I'm going to go back into week 11. So we've done the forms. You've got the one quiz. Remember, the quiz is going to be 5 questions. We already talked about this. The video clips are in there. So we should do pretty good. Let me go into the concept maps. What I wanted to do hit this week, and I want to talk a little bit about what we're going to be talking about in the concept maps. I'm going to go open up concept maps, and I'm open up here. Remember, you could open up there, and I'm going to go. I want to find this one. Okay, 247. So if I'm opening up this week's concept map, everything we're going to be talking about is regulations of consumer behavior. The regulations are there to protect the consumers. The regulations came into effect because businesses or marketing played their they stretched the line. I'm a double major. I don't want to badmouth the industry because remember, as a small business, when you're looking at, if you're in the industry, you're looking at how do I motivate people to remember my product over my competitors. If my competitor is dishonest or using sex or using something to attract a clientele at an earlier age, why shouldn't I do that? Now, it's fair game. All this, I understand that's part of doing business. You know what I mean? But then you also have to find the ethics. Some businesses will shy away from that or not do that, and you get a lot of businesses that are like Toyota or some of the I just use Asian for lack of better words, and Japanese, because of their values and everything else. I'm not saying that their values are any better or worse than ours. It's just the cultural values and everything else. What's accepted in the cultural norms were ours. We have so many different cultures. Some cultures we accept it, some we don't. In a group, it's a whole different arena or different geographic demographics in the U.S. than is in Japan. But when they're working here, just like we have laws saying that we have to abide by their laws, but our standards, if they're higher than their laws, we have to abide by our standards. So if they take payoffs and payments, not like we don't take payoffs and payments, but we our standards are illegal. So here, so we won't do something like that. Okay, so when I'm looking at that, so if I'm looking at the Japanese, they may have different standards and everything else. You don't see them really bad mouthing other ones. They're very family orientated. They're very focused. They're very fun and interactive. Okay, so we'll look at those videos. So, okay, so now this chapter, so you have to look at it from both perspectives, from a marketing perspective and from a consumer perspective. The bottom line, you're in marketing and you're in advertising, and so now you understand what's right, what's wrong, and you're trying to find that balance. So the National Advertising Division of Business, that's where you'll have, we call it the CARU and everything else. Look at the guidelines in the book. It's really good, table 20. Look at the guidelines, and the concept map has it. They have like four major guidelines. Not to urge children to ask parents to buy that. Not to suggest certain things. They should not convey to children that the possession will make you more acceptable within a group. Because that's basically planting seeds. Working. Remember, marketing works at our, whether you like it or not, works at our human nature of lust, wanting something else, our human greed. It looks at works at our insecurities, and looks at our inferiorities, how to overcome them. Remember the other chapters. If you look at personal everything else, that's everything you learn in psychology. Who are we as a person, and how do I better ourselves, or if I or how to bring that image across. That's marketing. That's I enjoy that. I mean, and that makes us who we are. That builds our self confidence. I'm not putting the negative, but remember all those things that are positive, if used the wrong way, used at the wrong time, used in the developing of a child or someone who's still not aware of what's going on, and planting those seeds in there that he or she may not know. Whether you believe in subliminal messages, which, like it or not, the theory and everything that says that they are in there, we're a product of our society, our environment and everything else, our influences, our peer pressure, our culture, what we hear in the news media, what we hear in other news media. So all these things are embedded in here. So look at the guidelines. Okay, so I'm going to say, so you take it from that perspective. So you're looking at the you can't portray things that's going to be unsafe. You try to protect the child's privacy. You don't try to put them in there. So they come into your site. You got a site for kids, but your site, because they're in the YouTube or anything else, automatically links them to some of the other more provocative sites. So that's why if you have several channels, and those of you are going to start doing marketing, and remember, small and medium businesses, you're learning some of the stuff. That's where you go to school, so you learn, hey, what's right? How do I market? How do I have different channels? So when I do market to children, or to the parents of the children, and I open up things, because I help them to look at it, and I got sites that can play around and everything else, but I don't have a YouTube site that has that. I'm not trying to sell the material, but I don't put in other sites that provocative. So I have a channel that's a child channel up to this age, and I let the parents know if they're in this child. If they come in this other child, you have to have like either an email account or something to identify you that you're over 21, and you could have that. Because some of the burden has to be on the parent. If I have children under age, the parents, and that could be in some of your sites. If you have children under age, please set the settings on their email accounts that they're going to view this type of an adult thing. So when they come to my site, it is only a PG or underage 6 or 7. However, teen, preschool, preteens, however you want to set it up. Okay, so look at the guidelines, real good. Mobile marketing, like it or not, they talked about the third screen. So that's interesting, because if you look at now, we're all attached. Right? You can look at the videos, you get the music. Your mobile phone now is your mini computer, for lack of better words. It does so many different things. So how do we get into it? How do we market? And kids use the mobile phone to text, like we looked learn in the other chapters. But now, am I exploiting it? In school arts and everything else. When I let kids come to my homepage after school things, make sure I don't have any advertising. I'm not saving any information. That the child's safe, and I don't have any kind of predator or anything in there, because it's still children in there, and there's like it or not, there's like pedophiles out there. So if I'm looking at that, my job as a marketer, especially to children, to adults, to distinguish the difference, because I'm a credible individual. People come to me, people trust me. There's regulations that could find me, not only the company anymore, they could come after the executives if they knew that they allowed this. So there's a lot of ramifications on that, and plus it's bad business, and plus it's not the right thing to do. Okay, so I mean, if you have an adult, and it's a little different when you're a marketer, the adult should know. Remember, I'm talking about the fine line, class. Listen to me. We are honest, ethical marketers. There are some that are out there that are not there, and some people that work for us. We may be honest and have the systems, but I'm not catching it. I'm not looking at all the sites. I don't know anything about social media, so I don't know what's going on. that is against me as a company. I should be aware of it and check those sites out, and at least or have individuals that monitor or audit all my sites, and whether internal or external, just tell me here's my ratings or that site. That's what the regulations and what's all those the other sites you're looking at, the guidelines and everything else, because that's what makes us. Remember, because people, if they don't trust us, if they don't do anything else, or it could hurt the whole industry. Right now, the banking industry is going through that. The financial market. There's a lot of good people in the financial market, but it was the top people that were greedy. And because the top, all the laws came out, anyone says, they're afraid to say I'm a stockbroker, I'm an investor, I'm all this. Oh, because you ripped us off, you did all this. And it wasn't all this. There's a few greedy people and took advantage and knew the shortcomings. And that's not what we want to happen as marketers and consumers. We want to find a balance, but we still also want to make a profit. Because remember, with the economic system, I hire people when they make a profit. That means still have money to spend, helps the economy, and we all grow, we all increase our quality of life and our lifespan, and stress, and we enjoy the good things while we're here alive and well within this realm we call the physical body. Okay, so what do we have? We have confidentiality, rules and confidentiality. More, you understand, as an adult, they can sign up. For children that are underneath there, you just have to make sure, hey, these are kids. I mean, you can't say, yes, I accept this. My little grandson, when he plays on the thing, he just knows, skips this, yes, approve or not. He doesn't know how to read that. So if you have those kind of buttons set up for that, that's inappropriate. That's not, and even if it may be legal, if it comes out there, people are going to look at this. Disney had a lot of inappropriate things, but sometimes there's some of their stuff is a little bit questionable. But if they have some kind of inappropriate kit for a real young generation, for children who don't know how to read, but they know how to maneuver because of the shapes and repetition, that'll hurt the whole Disney, their image that I'm here for children. I'm here to help kids get the Disney channels. Our products are safe, our quality are safe, our websites are safe. Remember, that's the brand image. That's why people trust Disney, even though they know, if I want something that's a little more provocative and more adult oriented, it will not be a Disney Channel. Disney may have other things that may be stretching it, but not to the point where you go some of the other ones. Okay, so that takes care of that. So that's it again. So we've got only one chapter today. Take your time, look at again, the videos. It's not a lot of hard work. It's real, 5, 10. 2 minutes, 3, 4, 5 minutes. The website, enjoy them. Those are sites you could save if you're in consumer behavior, and if you're going to be an advocate for consumer behavior. So you're taking this, you understand all the rules. That's what you should know. If you're in business, you should understand the rules and regulations, so it doesn't affect your business, doesn't give you bad publicity. It doesn't, not only publicity and the lawsuits and everything else, but you hurt you tarnish your image and everything else, and it's always hard to bring those consumers back to you. Because remember, once you have that brand image and it's got tarnished, people don't trust you anymore. Okay, so we do that through while in the forums, and spend some time and look at the in Blackboard, look at the research topics, look at everything else. Because next week you have, I think we're all done with the chapters. We're going to spend all the time on the forums. Okay, so this is consumer behavior, marketing 247, offered by Harper College. My name is Dr. George Mochocki, and I'll see you in the forum. And I'll turn this off in a second. Bye.